Thank you very much. Good afternoon to everyone. Nice to see you all. Thank you for being with us today here in this final conference. It is a great pleasure to be here. I'm a professor at Polytechnic Institute of Viana do Castelo and also part of the Income Project. And I'm very delighted to be here and presenting this theme that is the kickoff of the roundtables for the final conference. We have prepared a small video, and we will start this roundtable with this video. I will ask the team to put the video on, please, so we can start seeing the video. Thank you so much.
Some key features to make it more clear that we have here an institution and not an idea, a project idea to have cooperative education. Yeah. So, like mentioned, it's a state-run higher education institution, and therefore it's quite still unique. This active cooperation between the partner companies and social institutions and industry and so on with the university, more or less with the Ministry of Higher Education, because it was launched by the companies, by the industry, together with the ministry, with the responsible Ministry for Higher Education. And therefore, the curricula, when we talk about contents and later on, the curricula what we offer, because each single student is studying together with a company, the curricula are always on behalf of the needed qualifications in the industry. Theory and praxis in 100%, like 6 times 12 weeks of intensive studies, normally in 3 month blocks, and then alternating with the terms in the workplace training in the companies.
How do you choose the company you would like to work in?
When I decided to study at the DHBW, I visited an information event in Ravensburg. There was a little fair where you could meet some companies, and the professors also presented their courses. After that, I chose my favorite companies from the list you can find on the website of the DHBW and applied to them. A few months later, I had some interviews and luckily got accepted by the Tourist Information in Ravensburg.
Now I would like to ask the German students, which task did they like most, or which task did they least like?
Which tasks were you commissioned in practical terms during your placement experience?
During your experience, what was your biggest challenge?
What I liked most was definitely the organizing of the actual stands and booths, and communicating and working with clients, because I love organizing and I like communicating and talking to people.
I was visiting or training in different departments.
In first place, I would like to know if you have problems managing the internship with the classes, and how do you manage your time, and what was the biggest challenge in this matter?
So how did that work for you? Was there a clear balance? Was it too mixed, too unstructured? What is your impression about it?
So, from my point of view, I think it was perfectly structured. So we always had 3 months studying, 3 months work, and then 3 months studying and 3 months work.
And I'm interested in your opinion. What would be 3 most useful soft skills that you practice and would be helpful in tourism management career?
Whether you could develop soft skills during your study time?
I think the right English word is self-consciousness. So that's of course a soft skill that I developed during the study, so especially at work.
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the biggest advantages is that you learn to organize yourself. For example, when it comes to time management, you have to be precise in planning your studies. So that was one thing. And the other thing that was important for me are communicational aspects.
Are trained at university. Soft skills are trained in the practical phase while they are at the company, and in these projects or seminars where the two parts come close together.
What would you tell or name as one of the best experience you did there for you as a person, as a young professional?
You know your competences, and that definitely helps you once you are done with your program and you do feel like, okay, I'm ready now to do the job.
If you are looking back, you would or you can agree on, yes, this has been the right decision for you.
Yes, definitely.
Absolutely special experience, but I couldn't imagine to do normal studying. So yeah, absolutely a special experience, and from my point of view, the best I could have chosen.
And then, has the firm you work with ever used your ideas or advices in order to improve the efficiency of the company?
And I got the impression that we students are really important for the companies as well, because they can benefit from the theoretical knowledge we get when we study at university, and we profit from the practical skills we get when we work there.
And my question is if you receive any salary or compensation in a company.
To answer your question, we do receive a salary, and it ain't that much, but it really helps. And I think in my company it's a bit above the average income, so I'm really happy about that.
Did you get a job offer after your graduation from that company, from that dual partner?
Yes, actually I did. I worked there for 1.5 further years as a project manager.
During my studies and also during work at event agency Marbet, I always try to do the best job I could. So I also try to show them that I really want a job at this agency after graduating. Yeah, so, and they were the same opinion, so everything worked out for both sides in the end.
Well, thank you very much to the team, and we saw a glimpse, a video glimpse from the last webinar, the second webinar regarding students. And I will begin this roundtable that with these special guests. You are very special guests because you are the main focus of the project, the global project and the global goals that we all, this international team, are working on. So I think this is a very special roundtable, and I would like to begin by asking probably Marie if she can share a very simple thing that you mentioned on previous video, Marie, that was your gains with the system, the dual system, because we are debating a new cooperative model that is based on your experience, that should be enhanced and fostered all in the higher education. So can you just briefly share with us your personal gains?
Yes, absolutely. I think the video showed quite well that one massive gain is that you gain self-confidence, and that you feel once you're done with the program that you are ready for the job. I think a lot of other students will tell you once they're done with their studies, they still don't feel quite ready. So this is something special about the program. Another thing I want to point out is the network, which is very important, I feel, especially when you work in such a people's business as well. So for me personally, it helped me a lot to not just understand how my job works, but to understand a little bit better how the whole industry works. Personally, as you know, might know, I work in the events sector, and I have friends in all major exhibition companies all over Germany, for example. So if I might wonder sometimes, you know, when we face new challenges, how would other exhibition companies tackle this challenge? And so it's always good to have someone in your telephone contacts and say, maybe I just give her a call. It was also quite nice to see the video because there's some of my colleagues and friends that I studied with. And yeah, it's a very special program, but because of this also, it's very connecting. And the network really helps also once you're done and you still feel very connected and can always call someone when you have a question.
Okay, great, thank you. I will ask probably Ollie now. We can make this a very common discussion, but probably because we are all virtually, right, just to keep things going. Because some of you were participants in the pilot, and all these issues were very new. And Ollie, I was wondering, what were your main expectations? And then the pandemic, it was really hard. Can you share with us some of your initial expectations? And then probably some things about the process, gains or pains.
Well, when I first heard about the project, I thought, wow, okay, this is something I would really like to try. And so I just went for it. And what I expected was to, as I had no previous professional experience, I thought this would be a great opportunity to be in contact with the professional world for the first time. And so the expectations were to try to see myself as an actual employee of the company, so to say, while still learning and studying. And so, yeah, those were my expectations. And I think that the gains, like the confidence, the soft skills of trying to solve problems and talking everything out when it is needed, were very important in the process. And pains, I would say maybe, well, as it was the pilot, sometimes it could be a little bit confusing, but in the end we solved it all. So it was a great experience overall.
Great. Mariana, I was wondering, because what do you think about the main changes regarding the traditional system, you know, just entering this new model for education with a close cooperative learning with businesses? What do you think on this?
Well, for representative, all my partners from Girona, and for my classmates and all the people who told me about this experience, it's very interesting because was like always studying and always do the theory, and you never know how is the real life as when you're on a practice, for sure. So for sure, this is a mindset to change everything. And when you are with the knowledge, you think, okay, I'm ready for this work and I'm ready to do this task. But when you are on the real moment at the hotel or at the travel agency, you say, no, this is not when my teacher told me, because it's totally different. And for sure, I have to do and apply the soft skills, that is to know how to be with the guest, with the customer, all the practice, all this communication. And so for sure, this, for example, this pandemic spirit that changed all the way to work in there.
And I was wondering, with these challenges, Marta, what do you consider were your main achievements with this? With Marta, yes? You're muted, right? Okay. Are you able to unmute? No? Are you? I need, okay. I'll ask the team to unmute Marta. She's saying she doesn't have permission to unmute. Can you try again, Marta, please? No, you're muted. Okay, I'll ask Petra this question and then we'll get, okay, you're out.
Here I am, sorry.
So, wondering about your main achievements, Marta, with these differences regarding the traditional system, what do you think on it?
Yeah, I was really happy to keep on studying and mixing that with a work experience. And I would say that this work experience in particular made me understand what I would like to do in the future. So it was really useful because studying and working together really makes your idea more clear about your role and also what you want to really use in a job situation. And so I'm really happy about it. And I would say that would be my best achievement. And also I also could communicate better with my colleagues and also I guess try to find a solution to the corona pandemic since it was it was a surprise for all of us, but we could get over it finally.
Yes, it was quite hard. It still is, right? I was wondering, Petra, what do you consider were the main soft skills that you developed? We heard on the video some of them, like decision making or time management. What were the soft skills that you consider, if you consider, of course, that you developed?
Yeah, so I think I learned how to manage my time between faculty obligations and practice. So it was really good. And communication skills in general. I learned how to talk to clients in challenging situations and stay calm and just mitigate every problem that occurred. And I transferred those skills to my everyday life. So I think I learned a lot.
Really? That's good. That's good. So based on the traditional system, Petra, what would be the learning outputs that you could enhance, that you could really think that were most relevant if you were on the traditional system? Probably.
I don't think I would learn communication skills, soft skills this much, because in traditional way we just sit and listen to professor, and here we had to do something. We had to communicate and express ourselves, and it's really different. That is better.
Okay. I was wondering about this current situation, the pandemic situation that we are living. And one of the things that Maria João and Goretti also mentioned, the employability and the need to develop these skills towards enhancing and fostering the competitiveness of the sector. And Marie, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name well. Sorry for that, but
that's all. Okay,
okay. We didn't have the pleasure to be there personally to practice a little of German, but I was wondering about the current situation there. Can you share with us towards employability? Because we saw in the video that this system has strong links with employability and with businesses. And I was wondering if you can share with us your own perception of the role of this cooperative learning in the employability that we are now facing in this pandemic.
Yes. In general, I think this program has very high employability anyways, because the companies that decide to send their students to this program usually know that they're going to have a certain demand. So they, according to their demand, they send people to Ravensburg and yeah, make sure that they get the knowledge that they need. But obviously during Corona, everything was different. Just like in tourism, the events industry still is struggling very much. And yes, I have some friends who were in the situation of not knowing if they could keep their job, myself including. And some of them changed the employer. There were very, very few who really lost their jobs because most of them either found a way to stay in the company because the companies, once they already spend 3 years informing you, and also usually you spend different periods in different departments. So you know the whole company very well. This is a big advantage compared to other people who come you know, from the outside world to this company. So they try to keep you most of the times. And if they can't, that brings me back to the network. Because you, yeah, you know a lot of people, and you just, you know, we have WhatsApp groups and Facebook groups, and once a job comes up, it's in those groups. And I mean, we just kind of call, you know, oh, hey, I saw you, you know, your company's looking, just let's have a chat about it. And then you still go the official way, obviously, but it helps enormously. And the companies know, most of them offering the same, yeah, this same program. They know your background, so they know what you can do and what you're capable of, and they quite like that. So yeah, I was quite surprised actually that none of my friends, even though some of them might have been unemployed for 2 or 3 months, but there was no big issue whatsoever. And most of them were just really scared. But in the end of the day, it worked out really fine due to their network and their professional experience in their young age even.
That's good. That's great. I will ask probably Mariana also to share what's the status regarding employability, Mariana, there, and what do you think is the role for cooperative learning towards enhancing this employability in the sector? What do you think? What are your thoughts on this? What is the situation there?
Well, in talking about the pandemic situation and the employability, I think for tourism and accommodation was really hard because everything for sure stopped. So we already saw the light in this moment, but for sure we have to close the doors and we have to work only inside. So this was hard to see like the hope to when we are going to start again, when we are going to work again with all the team, because I think this is what's the most important, to know how to work with a team, because tourism is working in team, and then with the pandemic situation now is the individually and learning how to work in teams by online. So I think this was a great goal and a great yes, this difficult thing to know and to learn, even to soft skills and communication, how to work by teams, but now online, not to real life or to outside. I think for this employability is pretty necessary to know how is this, because I think we will have these situations, hopefully not, but we will have again in future moments.
Thank you. Marta, what are your thoughts on this? Can you share with us the current situation regarding employability, and what do you think about do you think that this cooperative learning with business can improve students' employability in this pandemic?
Yeah, I think so. For example, the company I work in was really wanted me to stay and was trying to give me like a work education. The problem with Corona and COVID is that they are not working like since a year now, and so they are on layoff, and so they work just few days, probably a month, and that's why there are no employability opportunities currently. But nevertheless, it's still a contact which we still have. We're still in contact, and then maybe after the summer and when COVID would be away, maybe there will be opportunities. So I think it depends on the regulation of each country. But yeah, the project is helpful to create this contact between students and companies.
Okay, thank you. Ollie, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think that in this or in the next pandemic, just being more close with business can enhance your employability? Can you share with us your thoughts on this?
Well, let's hope that there is not another pandemic in the meanwhile, because that would be very hard. But I think that as in Portugal terms, it would be very important to adopt this dual system, not only in the tourism area, but in every single one if possible, because as students are in contact with the companies and they can put to practice their knowledge, it gets much easier to be more willing to work and be more enthusiastic about what you're doing, because you already have that, even if small, you have some experience in the field, and even that is a huge help in working or finding a job.
Petra, do you agree with Ollie, or do you have a different position?
I agree with him. I think there should be more practical works. Studying everywhere, because it's crucial for later employment. So
yes, and today we had a different webinar in this morning, and our German colleagues presented some interesting practice orientation that were based on creativity. Petra, do you think that this cooperative learning enhances enhanced your creativity? You're willing to think outside the main directions?
I think it does. Maybe it depends on where you work, where you do your practical work. But if you're you have to be creative when problem comes. So you're working on creativity like that. So
yes, in this pandemic, we really had to be creative and try to. Sorry,
here many businesses closed because of it. So people had to be creative. So.
What is the current situation there, Petra? Can you share with us? Regarding employability, are businesses just beginning to?
Yeah, everything is starting to open, but slowly. Hotel where I worked is, I think, working on half of. Not every room is available for rent, because it doesn't make sense, because there are not so many tourists. And I don't know, I think everything is slowly getting back to normal, but we will see. I hope it continues.
Okay, we all expect that, right? Just getting back to Marie again, I was wondering, does your current module satisfy, do you think, thinking on your experience and now as an experienced alumna, right, and professional, do you think that this current model satisfies students' needs and expectations, both at a personal and a professional level? Because it's really hard at this moment to engage students in motivating them in higher education and developing skills, as we are debating. what do you think this model could bring or will bring? We will work on this, right?
So I think that I'm not quite sure if I got your question
Your
right.
needs and expectations from the students.
Okay, yeah. So I think that in general, the dual system, or this, you know, the program that we are doing in Ravensburg is a rather is different. Students who do this program have different expectations from students who do a normal study course. I think that is very clear.
Can you share that with us, Marie?
Absolutely, because I mean, when you think of a normal, you know, student, I don't want to say normal, but you know, stereotype. Let's just say stereotype student.
Yeah.
I think a lot of them want to have a lot of freedom as well, a lot of free time, and that's great too, because it's the time where you develop. You know, you have the time to try something new as well. You have to try. You might try a new hobby. You might I don't know. Try new sports, something like this. You spend some more time making friends, going partying. You know, we still go partying in Ravensburg quite a lot though, but I think it is clear though that when you do this program, you are very curious about the workplace, and you really want to spend some time there as well, and you want to get this knowledge while you're studying. And yes, you have less time, obviously, to spare for your free time. But the experience I made, and I didn't think it would be like this, was that in Ravensburg, because we all do the same program, once we are back together in Ravensburg, it's like family coming back together. There's you know, many happy moments. And we try to really make the best out of it. And when we come to the phase where it's about preparing for tests and everything and exams, then we really stick together as a team as well and help each other out. And yes, spend quite a few hours also together, just, you know, working and learning. And then during the practical time period, we don't see each other for 3 months. And then when we come back again, we're really happy. So I think this is it's important to manage those expectations before you start, to know that time management will be very important, that you are not as free, that you have a limited time of free time, and that you need to be very aware of that. And another point is, rather than finding it stressful to move every 3 months. I mean, if you live in the area, you might not have to move, but most of us actually moved every 3 months. So that's in 3 years, 12 times. That's what I did. So you have to be aware of that. But again, you move between 2 spaces. And in Ravensburg, it's the system is completely working like that. It's hard to get a flat share for more than 3 months, because it's really everybody kind of lives in this 3 months system. But then at the time when you're working, it's also important to kind of find a way to build up your social network there and keep it alive while you're not there because you're studying. So I think that's a challenge that also, you know, it's there, it needs to be addressed, but absolutely doable.
Thank you. Mariana, what do you think on this? This need to, I was wondering, do you think students need to adapt? Because sometimes I wonder, we all, teachers and students and everyone, can be very comfortable with lectures, you know, just some theoretical points, and students get notes and study, and they don't need to move. They don't need to move every 3 months, or of course to enhance these skills and have all these time arrangements that we had in the pilot, right? It was hard to manage all these issues. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think students also need to reinforce their skills, their motivation?
Yes, I think so, because it's part to first to growing up, and second because we need to, as you said before, to think outside the box, to think different, and if we want to improve our skills and to set of goals and maybe have better jobs or go outside on different countries, I think yes, we have to adapt and to start to thinking a little bit more, not only stay in the same situation, in the traditionality stuff. I think yes, we also need to reinforce this.
Ollie, you already mentioned that it would be good to have a cooperative learning system in higher education in amongst different courses. What can we do more? Do you have any suggestions that we can think on this? What we can do more? Or what can students? What? Yes.
I think yes. Maybe to not only get indeed to the practice, maybe make I don't know, like tiny workshops to know how to work in different types, not only accommodation or travel agency. Maybe I don't know, we are on different age, so maybe on marketing digital tourism or how to manage, for example, this type of projects, or the research maybe will be kind of I don't know, more fun. I don't know, but yes, maybe more active the things. Yes, the theoretical is good, but I think so it's great to be this type of cooperative things, and yes, to different countries. I think it's really improved for us.
Thanks, Ollie. What are your thoughts on this, Ollie?
Well, my thoughts on this is if we keep the, so to say, normal way of studying, to implement more real cases to study, and to so students can be more involved, because if it's something that exists and is real and that students can change it, so to say, it helps them a lot in studying and having knowledge and being able to deal with more real situations later in their lives.
Thank you. Just wrapping up, because we are 3 minutes wrapping up. Marta, do you think the future is based on cooperative learning? This is a hard question for 1.5 minutes.
The hardest one. I think, like as Ole said, it's important to also study case studies. So that's a type of cooperative learning already. So it's not necessary to be in a company to study how to be in a company or to work and all the tasks. And so I think it's really important. But at the same time, I also believe that there is a time for each thing. And so you can first be a student and then have this middle period of cooperative learning and then become a worker. I think that would be great.
Great, Marta. Petra, if you were entering this moment university again, would you prefer a cooperative model or a standard one?
Well, I don't know, because maybe it would be cooperative, because I like practice. I like everything that I can see, because I learn better that way. So in traditional way, I don't really like the sitting and listening part.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't know if everyone wants to say something. I would like to thank you, everyone, every single one of you, for the wonderful roundtable. It was great to hear your thoughts and experiences based on this practice, on this cooperative model. And I would like to thank you very much for your time, thanking to our listeners, and getting back to Ricardo. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I would like to thank to all the speakers in this first moment of our final conference.